name is Dr. Wale Bolorunduru, Commissioner of Finance, State of Osun. I'm in charge of the finance of the state, and I'm the chief financial advisor to Mr. Governor, and at the same time, I'm responsible for the economy of Osun. So I'm in the best position to clarify and to warn the citizens of Osun that they should not listen to Omisore, because he represents a distraction at this moment in the development of Osun. Well, I will start from the commissioning. If you really look at the essence of commissioning, or the way he's talking about commissioning, his own understanding of commissioning is that if you complete a 400 million road, you should spend 100 million to celebrate it. At the beginning of this administration, Mr. Governor told his citizen that he will spend minimal efforts on commissioning or celebration. So, celebrating the township road that we completed in Iyiola, or the township road that we completed in Osogbo. These township roads are everywhere for everybody to see. Mr. Governor said, when we need to celebrate, we will celebrate in a brief, and we will celebrate when there is need for us to launch a program like the Aleku-Wodo school, the middle school at Aleku-Wodo. It was commissioned because we wanted to launch the school reform program. So within the first 1 year, but Omisore's understanding is that, look, if I spend 50 million to do a project, I must spend 30 million to celebrate it and make noise and call people and be drinking and be that is not the strategy of this present administration under Ogbeni. But Ogbeni will commission the township road in Osogbo very soon. You know why? That will be the first time a circular road of that kind that will have both inner and outer circular ring road will be completed in any city in Nigeria. So for that program, that will be launched. So if his understanding of completion of job is that you must bring drums and celebrate and make noise, then he's talking to the wrong audience. The citizen of Osun will not entertain a situation whereby for every programs that he would have done if he were to be in the position of Mr. Governor, their hard-hand resources should be wasted. So, like I told you, within the first 1 year, Mr. Governor completed a 30-kilometer inner and outer ring road in Iyiola, called Iyiola Township Road. Within his first 1 year to 1.5 years, he completed Osogbo zone. Osogbo is completely built up. To do such circular road, 30 kilometers, within 1.5 years is remarkable. But even if you look at his other allegation that all the roads are ongoing, let us ask ourselves, is there any road in Nigeria that federal government has conducted or completed in less than 7 years? Iyiola Osogbo Road by federal government is been ongoing for the past 7 years. Ile-Ife, his hometown, to Osun, is been ongoing for close to 10 years. So, if we are doing Osogbo new garage road, if you look at Osogbo Kwara boundary road, it's both township road and what I call intercities road. You understand? And his dualization. If it were to be PDP or PDP federal government, they wouldn't have gotten to the distance where that road is. So, if the question the press should ask him is, look, if you say the major roads are ongoing, what about the federal government roads that you claim you appropriated for? And he also lied that he had already appropriated for them. when he was in Senate, which was between 2003 and 2011, before he was defeated by our candidate, he was defeated in his own constituency. He couldn't even win. So between then, 2003 and 2011, when he was sent packing, he claimed he had already programmed and put in the budget. Let's get the budget of 2010. Will you find those roads in the federal government budget? They are not there. Bogan, Akoda, Bogan Oshogbo dualization was not in the budget. So it is a lie. Let's even say we want to even entertain and check those budgets. Go and check the budget. Press, I want you to go and check the budget. 2007 to 2010 budget. You won't find any of those roads that is calling federal roads. We cannot leave those roads undone if we want to promote the economy of Osun. Because Osun is in the, what I'll call the center of Southwest. And Osun will benefit from what I call trading activities, both wholesale and retail activities. And if your roads are not good, you will not benefit from that activity. That's why we must do those roads. Yeah, they are federal government roads. If federal government likes, they pay. If they don't like, they won't pay you. I don't even think it's because we want to collect money from federal government. That's why we are doing those roads. So I would like press to actually go and check that he never, when he was the chairman of the appropriation committee. Now, the other question is this, right? Even if a town that happens to be his town, the former administration, the PDP administration in the state, claimed they spent 4 billion on Ife Township Road, which was part of the 18.38 billion loan. When the Security Exchange Commission came, in order to allow us to refinance that, they followed me to Ife, and it was a disappointment. Those roads were not done. We didn't say because those roads were not done, and because 4 billion was purported to have been spent, we did not abandon Ife. Ife still benefited from rehabilitation, the highly rehabilitation work, and township roads. As I'm talking to you, we have 2 phases of township road in Ife, both of them totaling 1.5 billion. Local Rail to Okesoda is completed with lightning. Oranfe to NTA is almost completed. Under the phase 1, you know, I told you the township road in Ife are 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1, all the drainages are completed. The local rail to Okesoda, I want to repeat that, has been completed with lightning. Oranfe to NTA is almost completed. These roads were given to the proxies of Omisore during the previous years, and they abandoned that roads. The roads are now being done despite the 4 billion that was purported to have been spent. So for us, it's not about politics, it's about development. And it's about development of a major city called Ile-Ife. And like I said, phase 2 of that road will also kick in. Phase 1 is about 750 million. Phase 2 is about 700 million. And that's why if you add the two, it's about 1.45, 1.5 billion. Either 1.4 or between 1.5 and 1.5 billion. So if you look at it, these are remarkable projects that Mr. Governor had completed. These roads that I've just mentioned, they are different from the township road that we have done in Ede, completed. They are different from the township road that we have done in Iwo, completed. As I'm talking to you, we have completed the road going from Ikirun all the way. It's going to the Kwara boundary. It has gotten to Ila. That project is 1.8 billion. So, if his own understanding of project is that, oh, project must be completed, there are projects that are dual carriageway, like Kwara Boundary Road, Oshogbo to Kwara Boundary Road, Bongon to Bongon Junction to Oshogbo. For the first time, this state in nearly 24 years we will be witnessing the first flyover bridge. And it's at a junction where this state normally lose 100 people in a year. At Bongon Junction, if you go there now, you see an ambulance parked there for emergency. Do you want to talk about our ambulance? Let me just send a note of warning again to our people that if Omisore has his way, he will fire half of the workers. Because Omisore cannot understand how his revenue will drop. Knowing him, he will not understand how his revenue will drop from 4.4 billion to 3.2 billion without firing people, with a wage bill of about 3.6 billion. Thank God that the efforts Mr. Governor has made in terms of internally generated revenue is paying off. So if the workers are listening to him, they should be very, very weary, because he will sack half of the workers. Omisore will sack half of the workers if he has his own way. Because his own understanding of economy is that you must first benefit yourself. You must first live larger than life. He won't be able to do the Spartan life that Mr. Governor currently lives. He won't be able to live that kind of Spartan life of denying yourself and putting your state ahead. So nobody should listen to him. People should be wary of his plan. His plan is that the worker should be sacked. And that's what he will do if he has his way. So I think on the allegation of debt, let me explain to you about.
We go to that.
Let me explain to you. His allegation of debt is very, very frivolous. If you remember, he said 200 billion before. Then he upped it up to 300 billion. He now said 413 billion. The total budget of Osun last year was less than 300 billion. Was about 250 billion. So if you collect 410 billion, where will you keep the money? Will you not spend the money? Is it possible to spend the money that is not budgeted for? That is one argument. For 2014, the total budget of the state is even less than 230 billion. So if we are to take that 413 billion now, how are we going to spend it when it is twice the size of our budget? So that allegation is fraudulent. That allegation is to seek attention. That allegation is to divert attention from the salient issue that, look, this man is not credible. Nobody should listen to him. In order to cover up the previous lies, he must tell more lies. And let's even go technical a little bit. No banks in Nigeria can give a single entity more than 25 billion, or say maximum 30 billion. Because banks are regulated by the amount of money they can give a single individual, be it a state. So even if you have so much money as a bank, you cannot give a state or a company more than 25 billion. And those are the big banks in Nigeria that are not more than 6. So for you to get 410 billion loan, you must contact how many banks? Almost 20 banks. And we don't have up to that 20 banks. Even if we have 18 banks, not more than 10 of them have capacity to give up to 20 billion. So if you multiply 20 by 10, the maximum a richest state like Lagos, let's say Lagos decide to borrow, cannot be more than 210 from this market, from this financial market. So the banks, our bankers are not reckless politicians that do things the way they like. They are regulated, and mind you, if there is anything like an offense, one of our offenses is that we are too transparent. We are the only state that had come up before we even started doing developmental projects. Mr. Governor said, I want to plan my finances for the next 10 years. We plan it, and we told ourselves, if we must borrow over the next 10 years, the maximum that we would like to borrow is 60 billion. And we will not go and borrow under the table. We will borrow from capital market. So we registered a program. we call a 60 billion note issuance program with the capital market. And it does not mean from day one you will borrow 60 billion. You take according to your revenue. So with our revenue capacity, we took 30 billion and we took another 11.8 billion. So if our revenue increase, we'll take the balance. And it's not money that you will be expected to pay down today or within 3 years. It's something you pay over the next 7 years. The 30 billion, be rest assured, we will finish paying it before Mr. Governor, the first tranche, we will finish paying it before Mr. Governor leaves. And there cannot be meaningful development without some source of leverage. Because if you look at it now, federal allocation since last year, July, had been dwindling. You know, before, when it dwindled, they would augment from the excess crude. After some time, federal government said it will not augment again. You should all go to hell. So what do? And you know, for you to have development, for you to have improvements in employment, for you to have increase in economic activity, you must first develop your infrastructure. You must build roads. Those of you that are living in Osogbo will attest to the fact that the economy of Osun is improving. And as we open new corridors, new roads corridors like East Bypass Road, there are opportunities. Industries are now coming to Osun. While other states are losing companies, Mr. Governor is ever making efforts to get company. It was in the news last week again, a company came to manufacture prepaid meters and to manufacture some circuit breakers to take advantage of the deregulation in the power sector. So we believe if Mr. Governor is allowed to continue his good work, Osun will be better off for it. And we should not listen to distraction. Apart from the roads that I've actually reeled out, what about the local government roads? The local government roads happens to be 10-kilometer roads in each local government, totaling about 320 kilometers. As I'm talking to you, we have recorded close to 70%, because there is a task force in addition to Ministry of Works that sits on a weekly basis with the contractors on what the issues are and how we can help the contractors through intervention, be it financial intervention, be it technical intervention from Ministry of Works or Bureaus of Social Services, and to ensure that, as I'm talking to you, we have recorded, so more than 180 kilometers out of that 320 kilometers had been completed. The full detail will soon be released by Ministry of Works. But the local government road is a breakthrough in the sense that in the previous 7-8 years, most of the local governments have not witnessed any road construction or completion. But as I'm talking to you, if you move around Osun, you will see all those local governments in nooks and crannies of Osun. But these are physical infrastructure. You know, he kept on defining physical infrastructure as something that you can see. Fine. It is something we can see. If we hold federal government responsible the way Osun State is being held responsible, there will be a meaningful development in Nigeria. We measure the kilometer of roads completed. We measure the social infrastructure, social program, what I'll call social infrastructure program. The quantum of money we spend on whole meal is over 2.1 billion per annum on whole meal. It translates to tonnage of meat and chicken that are produced by our poultry farmers that are doing poultry through our outgrower scheme. So Mr. Governor has tried a lot for the state. And recently, we're also thinking of doing some other programs for the graduates. The graduates that want to go into pig farming, piggery, and they can sell their products to the UAC Foods, another foods company. Our farming is being tied to the brewery industries for people to grow grains and sell to international brewery and take advantage of the increase in capacity of that local industry here. So all these are integrated program of Mr. Governor. So it's not only physical infrastructure that is responsible for the growth in the GDP, which is the gross domestic product of Osun, which is now $9 billion. And our GDP per capita is second to Lagos State in the whole of 36. It didn't just happen. 2010, we were number 14 in terms of gross domestic product. As I'm talking to you now, we are number 7 in terms of gross domestic product. But in terms of gross domestic product per capita, we are number 2 after Lagos State. So all these will be released very soon for the state to see and for the state to appreciate that, look, the economy of Osun is changing and we will all be better for it. So Omisore constitutes a distraction. Omisore is sending a warning to the workers that he will sack half of them. Omisore is also trying to cover up all the lies that he has told previously. Because if he had said we borrowed 200 billion last year, he needs to increase it. He needs to up his lies ante. So that is why he's hopping it up to 413. You will be sure by August he will say 500 billion. So I'm just waiting for him to say Osun is owing $500 billion. Let me tell you, if he's truthful to himself, he should go to Ilare in his Ile-Ife. It's like a Mecca. The children, when they close schools, they go there to take pictures. And not only do they go there to take pictures, they see the schools, they are eager to pack into that schools. Many of the schools have been completed. The deputy governor, who is also the chairman, who is also the commissioner for education, actually mentioned yesterday that we have completed 1,558 classrooms. If you multiply that by 30, average of 30 students per class, that's classes for 45,000 students. How many classrooms did PDP administration build in 7.5 years? And as I'm talking to you, we have committed 15 billion, and we are not only building, we are renewing also, we are renovating also. So we have committed over close to 15 billion on schools, and many of them are going to be completed before August.